shouldn't all issues be addressed using like common sense, regardless of the issue? I mean, think of pretty much unassailable theory. Shouldn't you approach everything first with common sense and then maybe a forethought of political correctness or that sort of thing? What the fuck, America?
What the fuck America did to me? Trickery or conspiracy? Good white girl, not Hillary, kidding me. Nothing gonna change my sensibility. Life's a bitch, giving all the chivalry. Overheard in a broke man's soliloquy. Bust guns on, break them down lyrically. Ring bells out, talk about liberty. Not tripping, shit got cigarette. Far from the truth in which proximity? Real authenticity, can't rate well when you're false officially. Leave marks me parts of history. Who do we charge for the scars initially? Watch your enemies. Everybody brother ending up shot Kennedys.
We're back. So before I get into common sense, which is kind of what I was, talking about, that maybe we should just, if you really want to solve a problem, that's any problem. I think it's indisputable. But before I get into that, I don't usually speak much about straight up New York City things, even though, that's where we live and so forth. But this mayor, Bill de Blasio, is, wow. This guy is facing some serious federal probes and this and that. I don't know who's got it in for this guy. I mean, he's a putz, don't get me wrong. An absolute clownish buffoon with a cartoonish voice. That aside, probably somewhat has a good heart, or does he? Because really what you find out is that of course the kid is peddling influence. What's the point of becoming mayor if you're not going to peddle influence? You just got to know how to fucking do it right. You know what I mean? So, and then I started thinking, it's all these leftist, friggin' progressive, radical fucks, the ones screaming at the rallies, you know what I mean, where the other protesters are holding little umbrellas. Point is, de Blasio, all these guys, Sheldon Silver, and the Republican guy, the state senate, all these guys are going to jail, these old fucking guys. Everybody's doing it. That's all. Get with it. It's just a revolving thing. And at the end of the day, the problem is, because they're all stealing from us and from you, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what party they're in. It really doesn't. I mean, consider, but would you rather be duped on the left with these left-wing radical progressive nutcases that want to be in your bedroom and everywhere all the time shouting about how Republicans and reproductive rights and all? Get the fuck out of here. Listen, wouldn't you just rather not be duped? And, some of de Blasio's idols, for example, just a few. How about Fidel Castro? Loves him. Oh, of course. He loves every dictator, and all these progressive nuts do. Why? Why support oppression? I'll tell you why. Because if you're in with the group, you prosper. Well, that's what the fuck capitalism is too. It's just not a gangster way. How is Fidel Castro worth $900 million? Now, it's chump change compared to some of our billionaires and whatnot. But this man of the people, this man that overthrew the terrible Batista, for the people, came out of the mountains to save them. How is he worth $900 million? And people are fucking waiting in line for bread and toilet paper. Oh, they got the best education. Oh yeah, that's why we're all swimming the fuck over there to go to medical school. Okay? The point is, everybody's the same. Vlad. How about Vlad? Well, he's not the leftist pansy they all thought he was. He actually is a straight-up gangster. How's he another guy who's just for the people and with the bringing back the whole communist thing, which is what he's been doing, of course, clamping down on this and clamping down on that. He's worth $50 billion. That's Zucker donkey money right there. You understand? So everybody's in it, and it's just a matter of, who's running it right now. How about the public schools they scream about? Oh, well, we have to, I love this is clear proof that anyone's voting for Trump, that the education system is broken and needs to be completely repaired top to bottom. Well, you're probably right there if you sort of thought that. And if you're in a teachers union and you're hearing this, you did think that. You did echo my sentiment right there. And the fact of the matter is, who the fuck has been running the public education system for the last half century? Tell me! Who? Democrats, unions, people putting their jobs and their security and their status quo above the actual learning of the children. And in fact, you begin to see leftist propaganda creep in. That's going to be a whole nother show, and don't even get me started. This is how we see it. They run these institutions. This is how Marxism works. It's incremental. All right, so back to the central theme of tonight's show, common sense. So, I know I beat this like a fucking redheaded stepchild, but this Muslim immigration, refugee, Syrian, this and that, you know, this kid, Barry, is so committed to it. You know, bringing in 15,000 or 10,000 fiscal year 2016, and many people say it's even more than that. And look, I don't know. I just got to say to you, you know how they do that? You know how they accomplish this? They accelerate the screening process, which, you know, where they vet them and find out, because nobody's got papers, nobody's got shit. They're just coming. Let's give them all the benefit of the doubt that it's not, like, overwhelmingly men, you know? Militaristic aged men. No women and children making that trek. But anyway, let's assume benefit of the doubt and everything like that. All right, fine. So it usually takes 18 to 24 months, 2 years, to be integrated in a refugee situation. That's the usual thing. I guess they find out, make sure you got no ties to, you know, Ahmed back home, fucking Haji's blowing everything. Yo! No ties to any of that stuff. It takes a while. I don't know why in the world it would take 18 to 24 months. What the hell are they doing? You know, for 18 to 20, oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Obama wants to make it 3 months. So I'm saying to myself, what is the hurry? What is the giant hurry to do this? Like, what's the... Why so fast? You know, why so desperate, and we just have to do this and accelerate? Which obviously, if you're going to make the screen, I don't know what these bureaucratic knuckleheads, as I said, are doing for 18 to 24 months, but whatever it takes. I mean, it must take a minute. What's the big rush? And I know what you say. It's a humanitarian effort. These are refugees, political refugees, are persecuted. There's a whole bunch of questions that arise around that as well. Why don't the other Muslim countries in the area take them? You know what I mean? It's sort of... You know what I mean? So, that's one question. The other question is going to be answered right after I show you this. Hamilton. That's the way it's spelled. Anyway, well, what happened was Obama was coming through there a couple weeks ago, and so the soldiers, in preparation for, you know, his security detail and whatever they do, you know, was going to stay in these barracks where they had housed a bunch of these Muslim immigrants on their way to the next stop, wherever they were going to ultimately end up. Okay? So when the soldiers got there, what they found was that they couldn't possibly stay there. There was feces, there was vomit, there was semen. It's all very, they couldn't use it. You know what I mean? And so what it brings me to, listen, it's tough. It's a tough situation. It's probably cramped quarters. A lot of these military-age men bumping into each other with the towels and they're snapping. Hey, whoa! Point is, it was unusable. They had to rent hotels for the soldiers. I just get a kick out of that story, but I'm going somewhere with it, and it's here. And in fact, it's the new and improved Scotty Doctrine, which I'll get to. Now, what this shows us is that some of these refugees, if you will, I know we have to think, again, not common sense, but we have to think politically correct. All cultures are equal. Are they? So, here's the situation. Apparently, maybe some of these refugees, wherever they come from, they don't know what we consider to be Western hygiene moves. Like you sit down on the toilet rather than with your legs over it and, things like they try to get most of it in. And then, but the last thing you think of doing is smearing it on the wall. Unless it's like your ex-girlfriend, it's dad's place or something at the beach that you want to, but then you do an upper decker. So, you see what I'm saying? Blood, because they're fighting, these bearded men. Listen, here's the story. Obama is so committed to bringing that in and cloaking it in a humanitarian pose, meaning, that who doesn't want to help the absolutely we should. So I have a solution for this. Here's what it is. We already talked about the Scotty Doctrine in episodes before, which was basically that children 5 and under, any child can come here, whether they have parents or their parents want to give them up for the chance of a better life or whatever. They can come to America and they'll learn about America. They'll learn why people risk their lives every single day to get into America and break the law and so forth and so on. Those kids will take. So that's all right. That's part one. Now, there's a second leg, I've decided, of the Scotty Doctrine, and it revolves around grooming some of these people that are now smearing the feces and the semen and the blood and vomit. Not to mention, the bathroom facilities must have been horrendous, clearly. Yeah, once again, none of you folks out there on the Upper West Side would go through those conditions to escape from America, now would you? Into Cuba or into Syria. Anyway, what we learn is that these people need to be, if they want to come to America and be productive Americans, let's give everybody the benefit of the doubt. That's what we need. More productive Americans. We do. We really do. We're all immigrants or offspring of same. So we do need to set up some camps, and there does need to be a vetting process. And the vetting process doesn't take place in an office with bureaucrats shuffling papers and, well, this guy's got this and it was signed here. And then, you know what we do? We do put them in a fucking camp. A nice camp. Because you have to really try hard to get into this camp in the first place. And if you fuck up, you're out. We can do it in 3 months. We can do it in 3 months just by watching you, by educating you on the Western ways and whatnot. And if you're not feeling it, then you don't belong over here. You understand? Like if I go and spouting my nonsense in Saudi Arabia, they're not going to have it. I'm not going to now try to be the guy holding the light bulb while the rest of you fucking dumb fucks turn the house. You understand? So let's vet them that way. Forget their paperwork. I don't even care if they blew up a fucking bus in Israel 2 years ago. If they can get in this camp because they answer the right questions and they love America and they renounce this dopey Allah and they are not going to be death to America, death to America, death to the infidels, that goes a long way in my book. That's called common sense to me. Alright, So just to sum it up, it doesn't have to be the Scotty Doctrine, but it's straight up and to the point, using common sense. Whoever can get into this elite program, because that's the ones we want. We don't want to keep immigrants out. So you're stupid. We need bodies. We need bodies up in here. Whitey ain't reproducing at population rate. Know what I mean? Whitey's being overly responsible with their friggin' reproduction, and therefore, boom. Okay, fine, but we still are trying to hold to those values and whatnot. So what we want to do, the vetting, as I said, who cares what? Listen, if last week you did this, call me your priest. Boom, say 3 Hail Marys and you're done. Fine, but you still got to learn the American way. You got to know the 3 branches of government. A couple little civic things like that, which, by the way, they ought to run by some of the people here in America as well. Anyway, that's my point. That's the vetting process that should be done. That should satisfy these lefties. That should be like, gee, Scotty, that sounds so sociological. You know, we could get all the PhDs together from Harvard and here and there, and we'll go in and we'll just assess these people all day. Do whatever you want. Take the package from them for all I care. It seems like that would be a sensible way to do it. If you pass, let's go. We need you, man. Awesome. Great to have you here. Otherwise, if you can't hack the program, you can't do it. So anyway, that makes me think of, why does Barry so intent on hurrying it up? Like, are they in physical peril? I don't know. I mean, any more than an Israeli school child is every day? You know, or anybody who's susceptible to, you know, I don't know. Point is, there's really no rush. So the only reason, so why does he want it? Like, this is a legacy, the horrendous Obamacare, the horrendous Iran deal, the trying to push the TPP, that's all not bad enough. Now, what I need to do is, before I leave office, I need to sow some civil unrest. Yes, yes, yes. Just like my mentors did. The great Saul Alinsky. That's right. We all know him. No, we don't, but we should. You should. That's who your president is all about. So you bring in these miscreants. You bring them in. They cause civil unrest. First they're here and they're fine in their little enclave in their town, and then all of a sudden that town's got 1 city councilman and this town's got another. Fine. You're exerting your political will through the power of the vote. But not really in line necessarily with the same, we ain't going Sharia. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it happening very soon. So, again, it's knucklehead holding the fucking light thing and a bunch of towels spinning that on him. We have an email address right here, showing right here. You know, and as this is our 7th episode, so, you know, every show, more people watch, we didn't really mess with the emails too much, but actually now, you know, I thought it was maybe apropos to share a couple of them with you, and in order to do that, I'm going to don my glasses for the first time this season. Ugh. All right, so this is from Robert in White Plains. Mississippi has passed the Protecting Freedom of Conscience from Government Discrimination Act. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Well, it's not. What it really does is allow people to refuse services to anyone based on a religious objection. Would you like to eat in my restaurant? Well, tell me about your spiritual beliefs. Would you like to order cake for your wedding? Sorry, my God says you are an abomination. I'm obviously reading this, you know. This law doesn't protect religious beliefs. It protects bigots who discriminate against LGBT, religious zealots, blah, 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 blah. You got it. All right, Robert. Well, a lot of information there, but I can tell you the following. To quote one of the greatest baseball managers of all time, Earl Weaver, maybe if you didn't spend so much time in the garden, you'd get a prick stuck in you once in a while. All right. Thanks for the entertaining show. This is from Jim in New York City. Thanks for the entertaining show. I'm not really sure I agree with everything you say all the time, but nonetheless, I enjoy the show. I would like to hear more callers, and to hear more of an opposing point of view sometimes. Thanks again. Keep it up. Well, Jim, now an opposing point of view would mess everything up. I just really think it's best that I just do all of the talking. I'm just kidding. Actually, we have your phone number, and actually maybe we'll give you a shout about what you also mentioned in your email. All right, one more. How many more? Who's it? Who? Unknown. Who's this? Oh, AJ. Well, AJ. Get it? All right. You know, you're not that conservative and right-thinking as you might think. So stop trying to come off as such and stop touching your face and picking your nose. Oh, fucking liars that email this show. Anyway, that's a good one. He's right. I'm kind of all over the place, you know, whatever. Just having a good time. You go fuck yourself too there, Ernie. AJ. All right. This is from Alan Fridman in Brooklyn. He says, "Hey Scotty, I totally enjoy the show even though most of the time you're full of shit. I never hear anything about Jewish or Israeli issues on your show. Are you afraid of Jews?" Damn straight I'm afraid of them. Goddamn money lenders. Nah, I love them. I'm not afraid of them. You know, it's good. I do need to pick. I've been picking on blacks or whites and certainly fucking Jews. So guess what? I'm going to give you a shout too and let's talk about some stuff. Because I really feel like Israel's almost every problem that we're in is our blind support for these guys. On the other hand, you got these other fucking dummies lobbing, you know, poking the bear's cage, like, dude, chill. And then you've got a lot of Jew haters, and a lot of them live right here. Matter of fact, Alan, I am going to call you up. Let's see how your people are going to vote this time, okay? Let's see how the tribe goes, because they repeatedly vote against their own self-interest, including this dopey Bernie Sanders. He's no lover of Israel. He's no lover of Israel. Hillary's no lover of Israel. Oh, you want to... Oh, but Barry is? Hells no! Keeps that fucking kid sitting in the little fucking game room while he dicks around. I'm having dinner with the president of Israel, dopey prime minister, whatever he is. Fuck that guy. People, get yourselves together. Yeah, so we are going to talk about that. Thank you for the email. It got me worked up. This was not supposed to be a workup section at all. All right, I listen to your show on YouTube during the day when I'm driving my truck. Here's your new gear shift. I wish there were more of them. Oh, sorry. Your show's, oh, take that back. Your show's hilarious. I can listen to it all day. Keep it up, buddy. All right, Paulie Z. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that, Paulie. Anyway, yeah, well, you know, we're having a good time. You know, I mean, you know, why not say what you think? You know, once in a while. A little refreshing, isn't it, kids? Anyway, if you want to email, go right ahead. It's WTF, real WTF, right? At Gmail. What? Fuck it. You can see what it is right now. I can't remember. Anyway, so thank you very much. Yeah, keep the emails coming. If you want to leave a phone message, 212-810-0129. And we got Facebook and we got all that other stuff, but I'll say that later. But anyway, just good emails. Thank you. All right, so anyway, yeah, so Trump, you know, I mean, again, I've said this before, out of 300 million plus, let's say 320 million people, the best people we have is a dopey crook, Hillary Clinton, and a silver spoon guy over here, but at least he's got a little flair. Good grief in heaven. Who won't hang themselves at Hillary's first press conference? Ugh. Anyway, so Trump, you know, I liked some of the speech, basically the America First stuff. You know, again, I think this will tie nicely into the Scotty Doctrine. I'm expecting some sort of not a cabinet appointment, but, you know, somewhere in the administration. The America First thing works for me. I liked when he said if he sticks to it, this guy. we will no longer subject ourselves to the false song of globalism. A little paraphrase, but fucking close! If that's true, in other words, what are we doing with a TPP? What are we surrendering our sovereignty to any other nations? We run shit. And in our short time, I'm not going to do the arithmetic right this second, but this is 2016, so it's on a 6. That should be easy. 200 and change years. This much of a civilization, like a fingernail in the giant fat forearm of humanity, since we've been keeping records. It doesn't even exist 250 years. Not even a blip on any screen of any society ever. The Ming, Ding, Ring, those dynasties, they're ruling for thousands of years. Zero progress. This little guy comes along. Built from what? From what values? From what values was it built? This little guy comes along and revolutionizes the motherfucking world. And if you're lucky enough to live here, then you're lucky enough to watch this show even next week. So, what I would say to you is, keep up with us. Feel free to call in. Send us an email. We're on Facebook. All the addresses are rolling by right now. Had a great time. Sorry I didn't get too worked up. I wanted to get a little more busy. Anyway, all I really want to say is, we love you.
What the fuck America did to me? Trickery or conspiracy? Good white girl, not Hillary, kidding me. Nothing gonna change my sensibility. Life's a bitch, give it all the chivalry. Overheard in a broke man's soliloquy. Bust guns on, break them down lyrically. Ring bells out, talk about liberty. Not tripping, shit got cigarette. Far from the truth in which proximity? Real authenticity, can't rate well when you're false officially. Leave marks, leave parts of history. Who do we charge for the scars initially? Watch your enemies. Everybody brother ending up shot Kennedys.